Hello and welcome to the Steam Release Podcast. I'm your host, Dewey Bear, and joining me today is the. Nope, I don't have an adjective this week, but the awesome total Top Gun Bunny. Top Gun Bunny.
Thank you.
I was trying to think of something that would be alliterative, and it's like, no, I can't think of T adjective all of a sudden. Why did I plan this ahead of time? But oh well. So yeah, welcome on. I'm glad to have you back.
Thank you very much. It's good to be back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're in a new place, so that's cool.
I am. I'm also on push to talk. If I manage to say something and you don't hear it, just kick me in the.
Oh, yeah, indeed. Okay, yeah, no problem. I will let you know. Hello, Rody Pie. I'm so glad to have you here. We have
Hello,
our
Rody.
chatting co-host here and ready now. Awesome. Though I have Farming Simulator up at the moment, that is not what we're actually talking about today. But I'll just first ask Top Gun Bunny, what have you been playing this week?
Myself, I've been playing mostly Destiny 2, a little bit of Sea of Thieves. New Sea of Thieves content came out. It kind of revived a whole lot of the old stuff that they had just kicking around in the game. So that's a lot of fun. Destiny 2, just trying to get myself raid ready. Got a few friends who've been looking for an extra, so I was like, I'll buy the game and I'll catch up to them.
Mm-hmm. I actually a friend of mine was asking about Sea of Thieves recently. He was wondering if the it has any more of a sort of like continuous progression nowadays, or is it just still? Does it just have more stuff to do now?
I would say if you were to pick up the game now, it's probably worth the cost of the game,
Mm.
especially since it's been going on sale a lot. There's lots to do, lots of content. As someone who plays it avidly and plays it all the time, I still have things that I need to do. When the game came out, it was really grindy, but I feel like there's lots of different variety of things you can do to grind now to get those levels.
Yeah, that was the number one issue, the complaint that I heard, and the reason why I never picked it up was because I just saw that like people feel that they've seen everything after only a couple days.
Yeah.
That's not good. But I'm very happy to hear that because they definitely need to get those updates into gear if they're going to compete with
Yeah.
Atlas.
Yeah, it's getting it's getting there. I honestly think that it's probably going to be better than Atlas, but
Hmm.
we'll see what Atlas is like.
Yeah, indeed. As for me, I've been playing Terraria. I've been playing Terraria with my cousins. I've also played Terraria a little bit by myself, which means the Stockholm syndrome is complete. I am now playing for fun a game that I hated. I'm not really a sandbox player. No.
I tried Terraria with one of my try 20s and I didn't really enjoy it. And Rody was there and Rody was trying to tell me what to do, and I was like, no, this isn't for.
It's so incredibly difficult. You need so much prior knowledge before jumping in
Mhm.
for it to make sense. And so what happens is that probably the best way is to just jump in with a group of people who know what they're doing, play with them for a few hours, get just way too much information, and then go back and play on a fresh world by yourself, like
A little bit by yourself,
gradually
yeah.
building up stuff. Because it's just there's just such a deep hole of information in that game. It's mind blowing. Terraria, good old
Yeah.
Terraria.
Yeah, like Rody By says, I think it would be better if I played with other people.
Mm.
I was just playing by
It's so
myself.
fun. Yeah, it is really fun with other people. It can be fun solo, but you have to understand the game before it is fun solo. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Gosh, I hate that game, but like I've gradually become okay with Terraria now. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I moved the chat, but I don't entirely sure if that's like a great place to have it. I don't know. I wanted chat to be a little bit bigger.
Chat hates the place chat is.
Chat hates the place chat is. Do 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 do. Do you prefer it over here, like below us? Do 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 do. I just don't know if it's like big enough for you guys to see it. Oh, see it better? Oh, true, true. Because with the video, like things are fluctuating all the time. Yeah, that's probably right.
Mm-hmm.
Okie doke. Yeah. So played Terraria. I was also playing. I also got back into Guild Wars 2, uh, which is a little surprising. It's been a while since I've been in Guild Wars 2 because Final Fantasy 14's been occupying
Mm-hmm.
me. But Guild Wars 2, I jumped in and played a raid, and that's why I did not continue Portal Stories Mel this week. Which, by the way, if you have own Portal 2, get Portal Stories Mel. It's just more Portal 2 for free. So
Oh, really?
yeah, it's a professionally made mod. But because it's a mod, it's free. They're not making any royalties off of it. But it's a cool way for a development company to get a little bit of knowledge in the community. So because they did release
Mm-hmm.
their own game as well. Um, yeah. What did we play this week? I think that's basically all I've been doing. Yep, that's basically all the gameplay I've got. And so I guess we have like our first sort of news topic. Before we get to the release list, there's just a few things that happened this week. The first thing is Epic Games is seeking to compete with Steam, and so they've opened up their own little store. I don't know how well it's going to look on the screen here, but this is the Epic Store. Um, and it's not something that I'm going to be covering every week, of course, because we talk about Steam releases. But I'm just saying that they are going to be trying to compete with Steam, and they're going to be having new games come out every other week, which means they're only going to have 100 new titles by the end of the year. Well, yeah, by the end of next year. But it's a thing. I don't know if they're actually going to be able to compete with Steam anytime soon, but in 4 or 5 years, if they keep the pace and they keep updating this web page so it's more expandable, because right now the format's just there's a reason people hate Windows 10. This is why.
Yeah. This is the exact reason right here.
I guess there's more Windows 8 that did that, wasn't it? Maybe. But
That's good though. I mean, a little bit of competition for Steam might make Steam.
yeah, I love Steam, and I really just want Steam to get the competition it needs to be a healthy company. So, and a healthy platform. Because goodness, it sure isn't super healthy right now. uh, but yes, I'm very happy that there's competition. Also, if there's anyone out there who wants to do a podcast on releases on the Epic Game Store, well, you have an opening now. So that is an opportunity for you to jump in on. Uh, yep. Yeah, there are 6 different platforms to buy games on, and right now the Twitch Games launcher is actually ahead of the Epic Game Store. If you have you ever checked out the Twitch Games launcher? There's a lot of games on there, and it's especially good if you have Twitch Prime because you get 4 or 5 free games every month. So,
And Discord has its own store now as well, right?
I don't think either of them are anywhere near because I feel like they're trying to do too many things. I don't think either of them will be a significant competitor to Steam anytime soon. The main thing with Epic is that it's got the money and it's got the install base. 200 million people have their app installed, so it's at least a significant potential audience. Granted, they're all Fortnite players, but Fortnite players don't only play Fortnite all the time. So, yep. Okay.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised when the Blizzard launcher started adding other games like Destiny 2 and Call of Duty. I think is on there now.
Yeah, it's definitely the Blizzard Activision launcher nowadays.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're gonna get any other titles on there, but we'll see. Yep. Yeah, the Blizzard launcher. You know what? Blizzard's sort of sitting on a lot of potential there too if they start working with third-party developers.
Yeah.
But I don't think they'll do that. I think they have a brand and they want to kind of. They're just expanding it to cover the Activision window.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Blizzard definitely has a huge install base, and if they wanted to, they could, but I don't think they will. Another potential company is Amazon, which owns Twitch, so technically they have a games launcher.
Yeah, they're technically Twitch.
But yeah. Oh, and the thing with the Epic Games Launcher, it also works on consoles. There are console apps for the Epic Games Launcher. So if you buy a game, I don't know if you'll be able to like still play that on the console. Maybe?
The
Not
way the
sure.
Microsoft Store works is like you can, if you had like the Microsoft Game Pass,
Mhm.
you could get all these different games. Some of them are for both, some of them are for PC, some of them are for Xbox only, and they're all in the store for you to see. But you have to be really careful you don't buy one that you can't play on your PC.
Yeah, I wonder if Epic Games will be the same.
Yeah, because that's how I play Sea of Thieves is through the Microsoft Store app.
Mm-hmm. The main thing about the Epic, the main thing about the Epic Games launcher, well, the Epic Games is a company. There's their company practices. That's the main difference that I like to see, is that they're only charging 12% of sales. Steam charges 30%. So, uh, so with that, it just means that more money is going to the developer, out of all the sales, and just makes for it just makes for a neat kind of more fair cut. Also, because they own Unreal Engine, they charge 5% on all those sales. So games on Steam that are made with the Unreal Engine, which is an awful lot of games, they lose 35% of their sales. Uh, but on their launcher, even if you're using the Unreal launcher, it's free. So they've basically made the Unreal launcher 100% free as long as you sell it on the Epic Store, which is the Unreal Engine. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So the Unreal Engine is not perfectly free. Also, note to folks, at least for building prototypes, you know that game, that MOBA, that really high detailed MOBA that they had a while ago. What was that? Paragon. All of the assets of that game are free. All of them, because they shut it down, but all of the art assets for that are perfectly free. So if you want to like practice with it, design and work with really beautiful assets to make prototypes, I wouldn't recommend like trying to sell it because people will see asset flips immediately. But at least making prototypes, you've got a cool place to do it. You're not just like placing down gray blocks everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's a cool thing. I love Epic Games. They've made some questionable decisions in the past, of course, but you know what? I'm very excited to see another player in the game. So yeah, that's enough gushing about Epic Games. Very briefly going to touch on it. The Game Awards show happened, but TopGunBunny didn't watch it personally, and so there's not too many crazy things that happened. There was a lot of cringe. There was a lot of memes. There was some surprises. Like I was expecting Red Dead Redemption to sweep, which, to be fair, Red Dead Redemption does deserve a lot of praise. It's almost a masterpiece. It's got enough flaws that I wouldn't call it a masterpiece, but it's almost there. Red Dead Redemption 2. But it did not get Game of the Year. God of War 3, or I guess just God of War. God of War got it. So, which was also good because God of War's an excellent game, and everyone thought it wouldn't win because it came out early in the year. Coming out later in the year definitely helps you in these sort of award shows. So yeah, God of War. But then that's just a PS4 exclusive, so that's interesting. But nothing else really to talk about the Game Awards, other than there was some cool announcements, mostly involving Epic Games and some new Steam games that may be coming down the road. Yep. Yeah, so that's all about that. The Game Awards show. The final thing is something that affects all of us. Is Article 13, the effects on Twitch and Steam, which there's people panicking about this, and I'm not saying that it's unreasonable to be very concerned and worried about these changes. You do have reasons to be worried and concerned, but at the same time, there's no reason to be panicking. Do your research. there's a lot of conflicting stuff going on as far as like what's actually happening, but there's also a lot of people. There's two extremes. There's the people who are saying, "Oh no, it's not going to change anything. It's going to be okay." They're wrong. They're very much wrong. That's not the case. Then there's also people on the other side who are like, "Oh, this is going to completely destroy the internet," which they're also wrong. So it's definitely someplace in the middle, but that someplace in the middle is not a nice place. So if you're in Europe and you care enough to contact the European Parliament, do your research, be polite, and just let them know what you think about the Article 13 and Article 11. So that's splurge. It's not going to affect me too much because I'm in the Americas. It's just going to possibly affect my interaction with the Europeans. So and that kind of sucks because Europe's a definitely large part of the community. So yeah, especially for Top Gun, you're kind of closer to European time where you live in the Atlantic.
No, I'm still America's.
Well, yeah, but as far as like the time slot when you stream and such, it definitely puts you your daytime is definitely closer to Europe's daytime.
Yeah,
So,
and another thing too is like when I stream, I often streamed in the morning, so a lot of my viewers actually did come from the EU, and a lot of the people I play Sea of Thieves with, they're all in the EU.
Yep. So, this is really going to affect a lot of American streamers because a lot of us if we stream late at night, we're probably not getting any European viewers. We're probably getting a lot of Australian viewers, but or some Russian viewers. But for folks that stream earlier in the day or on the East Coast, etc., that you get a lot of primetime European viewership. So for people outside of the EU, this is going to change. It's possibly going to change who you see in your chat, etc. It's the best thing you can do, assuming this goes through, is to just be very careful about copyright, because there will be upload filters, absolutely, because the primary difference is that they're changing the responsibility from the uploader to the platform. The platform is now responsible for the content on the platform, which for any company that has like millions of users, that's absolutely impossible for a person to actually go through and review everything by hand. It's going to be an upload. So even though the law doesn't say people are saying the law doesn't say you have to have an upload filter, there has to be an upload filter because this is the modern internet. So there has to be. So that's part of it. But yeah, enough about that. Let's get back on, Steam release lists, and we've got a whole lot of great games that came out this week. And even with the whole Article 13, you're still going to be able to enjoy Steam games. Although I did get a monetization claim on one of my videos because of some of the music that showed up in one of the trailers.
Oh,
that
yeah,
happened. Yeah. Not that I mind. I wasn't monetizing the video anyway, so now it is monetized. So, alrighty. So, going into the release list, we have Monday, December 3rd, and here the first title is War of Rights. This is a Civil War. This is basically kind of a Civil War MMO shooter. But it's not exactly MMO.
No,
it's
I would say more
large.
battle royale, but with two team.
Yeah, it's more team combat. It's a lot of players. They've done a ton of historical research, and so you may notice that they've done a ton of research. It's not a fast combat game. It's very much like you have muskets, so you shoot, you have to reload. It's not, and there's melee combat's a lot more important, and it takes place in historical battlegrounds. They did a ton of research for this game, so it's kind of impressive. So yeah, it's I
think games of this size really come down to if they're enjoyable to play, it's because of the people you're playing with, and one bad apple is going to ruin everything.
Yep. When I initially saw this game, it had mixed or negative reviews, but it seems that it has turned around as people have discovered it. It's now 73% positive. The developers, Campfire Games, they've had this sort of in an open alpha for a very long time, or at least I don't know if it was open, but I knew a ton of people who were able to get into it. And so it's been in development a very long time. Last I checked, it had quite a few bugs, and it is still in early access, so it's not a fully released game. So buyer beware. But yeah, it's doing pretty good. There's people with 300 plus hours on this title already, but to me that seems like you probably left the launcher open.
Left the game open.
Left the game open. That's probably the case, because 300 hours, how? But yeah, so also voice chat. It's just cool. I like to see sort of, we see all these World War II and more modern wartime, and here's kind of for old fashioned. It's sort of the start of trench warfare. Which, of course, you end up seeing sort of the end of trench warfare in, World War One. World War Two had a little bit, but it was mostly ended in World War One. But yeah, it's a sort of fascinating little game, and yeah. As far as their monetization policies, I don't know too much about that, but I have been sort of following the development for a long time. So yeah, if you have $30. My word, it does look really nice, doesn't it? So
Looks a lot to me like Black Wake, another pirate game I've played.
Black Wake? Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Is that on Steam?
Yeah, it is.
Black Wake. Ooh. Oh, as far as the artistic style?
Yeah, I'm not sure maybe if it's used in the same engine or.
Maybe it is a similar engine. Let me see. I don't know if they specify their engine. Okay, War of Rights is CryEngine. So Black Wake, what are you?
900 meters.
They don't say. Oh no, they have this like royalty-free music. But so Black Wake looks like it's a pretty good game, but maybe it's just a similar sort of period aesthetic.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a place where you're going to see a whole lot of bright colors.
Achieved with
But yeah, in-game footage, it seems pretty good. Oh, Slot Erotic, thank you. Thank you very much for the host, and welcome to the Bear Cave. We are having a podcast for your pleasure. Steam releases. And yeah, so that's War Rights, but from Campfire Games. I hope their current success is going to definitely lead to future titles from them. And I love historical genre, even though I'm not a big fan of shooters. You're a Destiny player though, so I imagine you do get some of that shooting in.
I do play a lot of first-person shooters, but I find like games like that, like you said, there's a lot less shooting and a lot more team movement and stuff like that. I don't know if it would really draw the, like PUBG and Fortnite kind of drew some of the FPS players, but I don't know if this would really draw that many FPS players.
Yep. Yeah, indeed. The squad, this War of Rights, I do suspect that it may play similar to a game, Squad, if you've ever heard of this game. This game is unique because it's designed not for people who are great at shooting. Like, if you're great at shooting, it's going to help in this game. But if you're not good at teamwork, you're going to do even worse because it's all very objective-based. It's take the hill, and you can never do something by yourself. You have to be doing it with a squad, with at least one other person. So you can accomplish nothing by yourself in this game. And so it results in a lot of communication. So, with War of Rights being, very slow reload and stuff like that, it's more about positioning and not so much about skill.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen too, like in the video when they're like have firing lines and stuff, where I think somebody actually puts the line down on the ground and everybody has to get on it to.
Yep. So it's just it's cool. It's a different kind of shooter. So, and one thing I found with Squad is that because it's such a cooperative shooter, it makes people's behavior in the game change. So you're not going to find the same degree of toxicity in most shooters that in Squad, that you would find in like Call of Duty. You don't see that same sort of attitude because if you don't cooperate, you lose. That's very much how it is. You can't just be like the twitchy, just really good shooter, and it's just like it's just clicking heads. Just do that, you can't do that in Squad, and I'm pretty sure that would not be what you would be able to do in War of Rights either. So
you certainly can in Destiny.
Can in Destiny, yes. Yep. I see. Yes, thank you very much for this, Lurk Slaughter. I appreciate it. Now, with that, we do need to check one thing. As far as like running, you are gonna need not a super beefy computer to run this game, but you're definitely gonna need a fairly recent graphics card and an Intel i5 or i7 at the least. So, yeah. So this is not for a non-game. You're gonna need a gaming PC. But our next title also going $30. Monday was an expensive day. All these $30 games. We have Override Mech City Brawl, which gotta love that royalty-free techno music. But this one I've seen sort of lurking around on the internet a bit. It's a mecha brawler, which there's a llama mech, my word. Which comes with its own set of sort of. It's not the most twitchy combat, but it's also it's a fairly fast-paced battler, even despite you're in these massive. They want to give you that sense of massiveness, so they have to slow it down a bit. But yeah. A variety of courses, a variety of mechs, and it actually, it definitely doesn't take itself too seriously, which is probably a good thing for a mech game. And yeah, if you're looking for a mech brawler, this might be the title. Is that a fish head? That is a fish head. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if they're trying to base these on real cities or not, though. Probably not. I don't know. Real world locations. So Tokyo, Egypt, San Francisco, and Mexico. Or, it's generic cityscape with, some sombreros placed in places. And it's like, see, it's Mexico City.
It's Mexico.
So,
that's not a dig at Overwatch.
No, not at all. Not at all. Or Tokyo. Just add the Tokyo Tower in the distance and Mount Fuji, and yeah, we're in Tokyo, guys. I don't know how real location they're actually going to do it, but I think the focus is the mechs. Let's just be honest. The focus is the mechs. That is definitely the main interest of the game. But
I think any interaction with the environment in a city like that, it's just gonna be good. Like if you can throw people against buildings and the buildings get destroyed, like that would be helpful.
I do believe that, yes, that is actually a feature of this game. I've seen some matches on it's either Twitch or YouTube, people playing matches, but yeah, the most of the environment is destructible. So as you're fighting, it's kind of like those Godzilla games in that way. So yeah, cool. 3D Mech Brawler. It's a much faster paced one than the Godzilla games, though. So, and it has a full suite of Steam achievements. You're gonna need Again, a fairly competent gaming PC for this, but the gaming PC could be 4 or 5 years old and it could probably run it, at least according to their requirements. Their optimization may not be that great.
I wonder if there's going to be a console release for this one as well.
It does definitely have the gameplay, like the style of gameplay that would attract console players.
Yeah.
Sort of just short session. You can sit on your couch and just use a controller. That they need controller support. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, they do have full controller support. So
okay, yeah, because there's no way this game would be fun without a controller.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Or at least, yeah. There's very few games like action games that feel good. Like MOBAs feel great with mouse and keyboard.
Oh yeah.
But there's a lot of action games that on PC I use a controller.
Yeah, any game with a menu, I hate going through menus with controller.
Mm-hmm. Bastion was really fun with controller.
I still play Sea of Thieves with a controller, and I'm on PC, and everybody gives me shit for
it. Well, I mean, that game is made for consoles, so...
Yeah. I started playing it on my Xbox. I had surgery on my foot, and I started playing it on the Xbox, learned all the controls, and then when I came to PC, I was just like, I'm just going to plug my controller.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. And there's something just sort of immersive about using a controller in a game like that too. Yeah. I don't know, it's just your hands are in a more natural look position. Yeah, it's just more ergonomic. You're able to just kind of disappear into the game. And you don't have to look down to check for your keys. Definite downsides to keyboards.
You know what? I would be the guy, Akio, who tries Counter-Strike on a controller.
Oh yeah, you have to play. I have to play shooters with mouse and keyboard if it's like a really precise shooter like Counter-Strike, or I have to play Overwatch with mouse and keyboard too. But things like Elder Scrolls Online, that game is so good on a controller.
Yeah, when I played Destiny. The first Destiny, it was only on console, and I was really good at it. And then I came to PC, and I kind of sucked for a little bit. But once you got used to the mouse and keyboard for a shooter, and I hadn't played Counter-Strike or anything, so once I got used to it, I feel like I am a better Destiny player now that I use mouse and keyboard. So,
yep. Yes. Override. It is not in early access, so apparently they're claiming it is done. They're asking $30. So the amount of, and because it's a PvP game, the amount of hours you're actually going to get out of it is going to vary. They don't seem to have, they do have mech upgrades and such like that, but this is mostly a competitive type game. So whether $30 is worth the price to you really depends on whether you have friends to play it with. So, yep. And asking all your friends to pay $30 can be difficult, I know. But yeah. Override, Mech City Brawl. With that, we are done with the Monday releases. One piece of advice to Override Mech City Brawl, though. For the love of all that is holy, don't use, make your own music, if possible, please. Don't use this. Don't use these techno music that I've heard on 20 other previews. It's everywhere, man. Okay, Tuesday, December 4th, we have Mutant Year Zero: Road to Eden. This one, I believe, first showed up last year's E3. I think.
It looks hilarious.
Yes. So it's basically.
I don't know if I really want to play a game in this this game style, but it looks hilarious.
Oh yeah, it's so it's basically XCOM, that sort of XCOM-esque gameplay. But yeah, so it's this sort of post-apocalyptic. All the people have been turned into mutants. Yeah, so you're basically going around fighting robots, aliens, just whatever you have to fight. It's a thing. But yeah, it's got this great style. It's from Bearded Ladies and it's published by Funcom. Funcom, which has recently had a really good year because of games like Conan Exiles. So for a while, it looked like Funcom was gonna be going the way of the dodo, not the dingo. The dingoes are still around, the dodos. But you know, they've come back, and they've come back with a vengeance. So they're publishing the Bearded Ladies Mutant Zero. It looks like it's been a big hit with 749 reviews that are 77% positive. So it looks hilarious. Definitely does not take itself too seriously. I mean, heck, you're a pig and a duck. Like, what on earth?
Exactly. I mean, why not?
And their story too, so that's a thing. Wow. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So excellent cutscenes, great artwork, and there's some decent story in it too, apparently. So, I mean, if you're into XCOM type games, which I'm not usually. Actually, I have not played an XCOM type game yet. This might be one that I try out. So, did you ever play the Shining Force series or Final Fantasy Tactics?
I think I played Final Fantasy Tactics.
So Shining Force was my childhood, which is kind of like that, where you have a bunch of like RPG characters that you move around a grid, and you have to.
Yeah, I played a lot of Fire Emblem, which is like that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know Fire Emblem played that way. That's how little I know about the Fire Emblem genre. Well, series. But yeah, so you would think that if I like that, I would like this sort of game. You know, kind of like XCOM. But I've never really gotten into it. I am playing what's it called? Divinity Original Sin, though. So it's kind of similar. Not sure. Yeah. It does, Godless Weed. Welcome. Yes, indeed. Discord does let you know when I'm streaming. Yep. Yeah.
Of course, the world ends.
So yeah, XCOM fans, this is probably a definite pickup if you got $35 lying around. They do have a deluxe edition though.
If I was into XCOM games, this is definitely a game that I would play. I want to watch somebody play this game because I really don't want to play it, but I want to watch all the cutscenes.
Well, indeed. Yeah, it would probably be a good watch. There's quite a few streamers that I definitely enjoy watching them play. I am curious if they've got that, like, that system where you're like right up in the face, point blank, and it's like shoot, and it's like, oh, missed. How? Your gun's right in their face, and it's like 60% to miss. I know, it's bizarre. But don't know if Mutant Year Zero follows that format, but it's got great art, great music. The developers, the Bearded Ladies, have not made anything else, at least that's on Steam. But can I say the Bearded Ladies is a great developer name. Definitely memorable.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Yeah, you're gonna need a gaming PC for this, and it's available in a whole lot of languages. But yeah, with that, our next title is Beholder 2.
Have you played the first one?
I have not played the first one. Would you fill me in a bit on it? It seems to be like a sort of dystopia.
No, I haven't either.
Okay, so it seems to be sort of it's an Orwellian genre of a game. Like it follows like the situation where you live in a society that's completely surveilled and under control, and you're trying to climb up the ranks inside the government of the society.
Oh yeah, I see other games relevant. Orwell, Ignorance is Strength, and Shrouded Isle. Those I enjoyed those games, so I could probably get into this if I knew what it was.
Yeah, I've been watching the trailers and been trying to sort of figure out what the gameplay is like.
Yeah, I watched through it earlier. It didn't give me a whole lot of context.
It definitely seems to be a bit more freeform, where you're running around with your avatar and you're interacting with things. Maybe a kind of a point-and-click adventure. It doesn't seem to have much of a combat system because it's all about like figuring, navigating your way through the system. So, yeah. But definitely a lot of dark themes. So, very interesting. But yeah, it's got the quest exclamation mark. There may be a story. I suspect there's multiple endings in a game like this. But let's see. Oh yeah, they definitely imply that there's multiple outcomes, because either you can become a responsible officer decorated by the wise leader himself, or whether you become a hardline careerist capable of destroying anyone who stands between you and the prime minister's seat. So, are you going to be the lapdog, or are you going to be the one who takes the chair? So, yep, a lot of non-English reviews. So it seems to have done well in China, of all places. At this point, Steam is not technically legal in China yet, so I am sort of
really?
curious. What the Chinese government would think of a game like this, because they definitely
this
they
comes.
definitely put their thumb down on games that involve Orwell. Like I do believe the book Animal Farm is banned in China, as well as like 1984. So a lot of books of that sort of genre are not permitted in China. So they still end up getting into China. There's Chinese translations of them, but yeah, especially with the whole like social credit scheme that's going on right now. It's definitely interesting how Steam has sort of slipped into China, and they haven't been able to block it off, because I think that just the Chinese government, it's a lot of old people, so they're not necessarily in tune with the idea that like, oh, there's this gaming platform. Like, aren't games as cartridges you put into consoles? I thought we banned consoles, though the consoles are now legal in China again. But yeah, so it's an interesting thing. Interesting thing. It's got a lot of Chinese reviews. Yeah, simplified Chinese and Russian. So very interesting. Yeah, Beholder 2. I don't know if I'm gonna check it out though, personally.
If it falls on my lap someday, I'll try it.
On your lap? Okay. Yep. And it's $14. I should probably check the $14. I see between 21 hours and 5 hours. So it seems to be, it probably depends on how many playthroughs you do. Do you play through it once and do you play through it again, doing different one? The first one is super popular. So yeah, you probably do want to play the first one before the second one then. Oh, I actually have to do age verification for the first one, eh? Well, it definitely keeps a similar art style, although this one seems to be more 2D, while the Beholder 2 is more 3D.
Yeah.
Interesting. Find prohibited stuff. Ah, this might give me a bit of an idea of what Beholder 2 is like. Oh, okay, so it's like you blackmail people. So it's kind of like it's almost like a point and click puzzle, sort of. You find things, and then you use things to do other things. It's kind of neat. Sort of neat freeform. It kind of depends on what stuff you find. Yeah. That is pretty neat. Okay, there we go. So yeah, Beholder and Beholder 2. Beholder now has a sequel. And it's only 2 years later, so that's pretty good. 2 years later, and they have a sequel. And final game of Tuesday, December 4th is a little a little, and I mean a little game, Endhall. I've had this recommended to me by a few different people, actually. This was made by Heartbeat Studios. It's basically, if you look into Heartbeat Studios, the developer, he makes these tutorials, these programming tutorials, to teach you how to program, and he uses this game to teach people. While he's developing this game,
Oh,
he
that's
uses
super
this
cool.
game to teach people, which is very cool. And so it's kind of neat that,
That's really
like,
cool.
you know, games that people were using as tutorials, you know, this game's now available. You can play it. So, and if you play this and maybe also watch, like, the tutorials, you'll get an idea of, like, oh, this is exactly how, this is what's going on in the background. So, because it's, you know, he teaches how to make basic AI and stuff like that. So it's a small game, similar to Into the Breach, but I guess like a mini version of Into the Breach. But yeah, it's pretty neat. Endhall. It's not a big game. It's only a couple hours long, and it's going to cost you about $5. But I do highly recommend checking out the developer. Yeah. The pixel art's kind of neat too. It's very interesting, and plus on the chiptunes. Chiptunes are nice. Don't know if I've heard that chiptune somewhere before though. Yeah. So, oh, what are your thoughts?
I'm trying to figure out what the gameplay is here. I'm like watching it, and like it almost feels like that XCOM like game we just watched, but in a more basic style.
Yeah, it's definitely more basic style. You're sort of eliminating viruses within the computer's brain, and so you've got to go through with your avatar. And I guess you only control one avatar.
Yeah,
and you just
sounds
go
like a
through
great-
and do it, and it just presents a puzzle where it's like, how do you solve this without dying?
Oh, cool. Okay.
So yeah, I guess how much gameplay you get out of it's going to depend on how good you are at the puzzles, but most people finish it in about 2 hours. So yeah, if this is this might be a good like try 20 game. It's pretty short. Although $5, maybe wait for a sale if you don't wanna spend that much. But yeah, I've only heard good things about it, and it's got 90% positive reviews, so that's also pretty nice. I need a reload of tea real quick. There we go. I love mini hot plates. So, Endhall. Yeah. So it's got good reviews, and it can run on a toaster. So all you really need.
Yeah, you could run that on a toaster.
Absolutely, and you can even see how it works. So maybe you can, if you're a developer who wants to learn how to do this kind of stuff, yeah, check out Heartbeat Studios. Check out their tutorials. This is their only game on Steam though, so hopefully we'll get to see more soon. And with that, that's all of the Tuesday games. Wednesday, have you heard of Edge of Eternity?
No, I have not.
So Edge of Eternity is a project that started by there's people streaming it. That's how popular it is. It is a project that was started by one person. It is it's heavily inspired by Final Fantasy. I first learned about this before Final Fantasy 15 came out. A lot of people made comparisons because of the physical similarity of the main character to main character of Final Fantasy 15. But
This war has taken almost everything from me.
oh yeah, it's got voice acting now, so that's cool.
I have decided to fight for another cause.
It's usually the best part of watching or playing a game.
Mhm.
A lot of those Japanese titles is the voice.
Don't do something
Yep.
now. Harian is lost.
So yeah, and this is I believe it's Japanese. Yeah, this is a Japanese indie title. So they did get a publisher, Palladius, but yeah, Midgar Studio. It started as one guy. he's gotten some other people to help out as he got further in, and it's a very beautiful game. It's got the traditional turn-based combat
Of what we have sacrificed.
and a really beautiful open world. So, and yeah, a strong sort of focus on the Final Fantasy aesthetic.
Keep trying to go back and look and see what this month's Humble Bundle was, but it keeps giving me
Decided to fight for another
Oh no!
captcha. It's like, how many bicycles are there? Which one of these pictures has a bus?
Something now. Harian is lost.
It's me, let me in.
Humble Bundle. Yeah, Humble Bundle's always a good source. I'm scared of subscribing to Humble Bundle just because I'm gonna end up having more games that I haven't touched. But I guess that's what you do. You do the try 20, so you gotta get those humble deals.
Oh shit, I have a lot of these. I haven't been checking. I think I have a lot of games just sitting.
Oh no. But yeah, Edge of Eternity. It's got some good style. It looks like you mostly play as two main characters. A caution about this, if anyone's pulling out their wallets right now, this is an early access game, and it is not done. It's not done yet. It is not complete. Yeah, this is not a complete game yet. So it is. It needs. It'll take you to a certain point in the story, and then it'll cut off. So I do recommend waiting until early access is over, because I'm not very keen on like jumping into a game, unfinished game, and then getting stuck. This happened to a friend of mine with Crosscode. They played Crosscode in the beta, and now like Crosscode's fully out, and it's like, oh, the game's done. You can like play through the whole thing, and he's just like, oh, really? And I was like, oh, but like I already played like so many hours of it. So that's an issue.
Yeah.
That's why I avoid betas. Or if I do get invited into an alpha or a beta, I play as little as possible. Because I don't want to... Or at least I avoid the story beats as much as possible, because I don't want to like ruin the finish experience for myself. But yeah. There's very few games where I would play through the whole alpha and beta and then be willing to play through a bunch of other stuff, but yeah, this game.
Yeah. I've played a few betas, and then as soon as the game comes out, I'm like, I don't need to play this game anymore.
And then like you experience the game at its worst and not at its best, and so
yeah, but at the same time, you get to experience the game as an early access person, and you sometimes get to have a say in how the game will finish if there's.
That is true. That is one benefit of it. Oh man, this is a gorgeous game. As you can see, I'm already sold on it. I have it on my wish list. I do recommend checking it out, but definitely I'm not buying it until it's out of early access, personally. So, yep.
It's probably a good call.
But I'm always down for another JRPG. Okie doke. Edge of Eternity. Now, going from something that's very, comfy, like JRPGs, there's nothing too weird or unusual about them. Now we go to Sansar. Have you ever heard of Linden Labs?
No.
Have you ever heard of oh no, it's slipping my mind. Wow, my brain is blacking out. Sansar made Blocks World. They also made...
Okay, so like with Sansar, you can build your own stuff in the game.
Yes. It's kind of the weirdest game. Linden Labs, the developer of Second Life. Second Life. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Second Life. So Linden Labs developed Second Life. I'm having a senior moment. Don't ask. But yeah. So it's developed by the guys who made Second Life. So it's probably going to be just as weird and strange as Second Life. It's all about sort of making a virtual space where you can make it whatever you want, and because of that, you're going to encounter
Weird
a lot
stuff.
of weird things.
Weird stuff.
So much weirdness. That's what Second Life is like. Like, there's in Second Life, there are games inside Second Life that are actually really cool and very well developed. But then
Yeah.
you'll turn the corner and it's a sex dungeon. So
Yeah. I don't want to kink shame anybody, but it's weird stuff.
it's weird. Like, it's really weird stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is the second. This is a second Life.
Yeah, this is Second Life. This is the next title in, the developers of Second Life. So yeah, it's oof. Oh my gosh, they've got like the Star Trek. Oh my word. Doing fellow Trekkies for Roddenberry trivia and more. Oh my gosh. Oh yes. This is like just imagine the weirdest convention that contains every interest. So just take every interest imaginable, make a convention for that, and make everything the most extreme weird thing it could possibly be.
And give everybody in that room anonymity.
Yeah, anonymity. Yeah, everyone in the room has anonymity. They can do everything without anyone knowing who they really are.
No one's gonna know who you are.
And you get, in most times you'd get like a post-apocalyptic wasteland, but in this one you get just a very weird place. Very weird. But,
It's
out.
Habbo Hotel. This is where Habbo Hotel has made.
Yes, Habbo Hotel. Oh my word, I remember Habbo Hotel. I barely touched that game as a kid, but I do remember it. And
If I was lucky enough to
know
have
lot
a
of
credit
people-
card.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who have very strange stories from that game.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the next evolution of Second Life, and it has mostly positive reviews. So if you're into that sort of like world creating type game, and to be fair, Second Life, and I imagine this game too, it's gonna have a lot of sort of settings and controls to let you sort of control your interactions as much as possible. But still, go into public areas, expect public experiences. So, yeah. So it's definitely Linden Lab is definitely the innovators. They sort of they've definitely brought gaming to new frontiers. They've sort of they get in the news a lot because of stuff like this. There's the stories about like people cheating on their spouses with people in Second Life. And then eventually marrying the person from Second Life in real life,
Or World of
Yeah.
Warcraft.
yeah,
Or RuneScape.
It's
Or
it's
whatever.
one of those like Linden Labs is really just alongside Blizzard Games and sort of making situations that past generations would have never imagined. So it's pretty cool. I give huge kudos to Linden Lab. I don't know if Sansar is going to be as popular as Second Life was, but we shall see. I wish them all success. I will not be touching this thing with a 10-foot pole. But I'm talking about it on a stream, so I guess I am getting a little closer than I normally would.
I will not go near this.
So yeah, Sansar.
I don't even own VR, so
Another gold rush on the most expensive digital item sold. Oh yes, that's gonna be a lot of it. Buffoon Batman, hello, welcome. Glad to see you. Yeah, so that is all the Wednesday games. Now, just how we came from normie JRPG to the weird shit. Now we're gonna go back to some normie stuff. On Thursday, December 6th, we have a game called Chef, a restaurant tycoon game.
So,
Which-
you want to know what it takes to become a famous chef, huh?
I don't know, man. This game exists in 40 different iterations.
It does. It really does.
Recipes on the menu. Hire a couple of
So it's a Chef Tycoon game. I mostly spotted it because like it's sort of the modern Unreal-esque type graphics, but with chibi characters, which makes a weird marriage, but I'll let it pass. But yeah, it's been fairly well received. But yes, it is definitely like Tycoon games. If you've played one, you've probably played half of them. But if this one does something interesting, and if you're looking for a new Tycoon experience, there's this. There's also like, also every week I see horrible Tycoon titles, so this one really stood out. Every week there's like Hentai Tycoon, or just weird stuff. Weird stuff.
Hentai Tycoon and Hentai Tycoon 2.
Yes.
In the same day.
Oh. But, here's something normie shit. Good. I will, of course, admit that I am definitely tempted to check this game out, because I do have a weakness for Tycoon games. I'm very terrible at them, but I do have a weakness about this.
Yeah, I don't know if you need to be good at it to have fun.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's fun. It's like making your own little space. It's like, what if I owned a restaurant? I bet everyone's thought about that at least once.
Yeah, like I could probably, like my wife doesn't play a whole lot of games. I could give her this game and she'd probably waste a few hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Tycoon games are a blast. And yeah, like it's just really fun to anyone who wants to like sort of imagine themselves in sort of a different career or a different path. Like these types of games give you that opportunity. And may even like help you decide on, a career path. It did for my sister. That's what Tycoon games did for two of my sisters. They got into interior design professionally because they started in
Sims?
in like no, not The Sims. They played games like Mall Tycoon. And,
yeah.
But yeah, like those type of games, like the sort of ability it gave them to customize rooms and stuff. Well, one of the sisters is now doing that professionally. The other sister, she's got to get through college and stuff like that. But yeah, one of my oldest sister, she's into this kind of stuff, and it's games like these that showed her that path to success. So you know what? Games aren't worthless. Just saying.
Yeah, like Farming Simulator has its place.
Yep.
American Truck Simulator has its place.
Mud Runners has its place. Actually, oh my gosh, do they have it? No, they don't. Okay, I think that's just an Xbox game. Mud Runners is like a simulator trucker, but you're like a lumber trucker, so it's through mud and stuff, and so you have to get stuck in mud and like get cars out of rivers and stuff like that. That's another game I have Stockholm Syndrome with. It's like I didn't like the game, but it gave like a sense of completion that I had to complete it, even though it was utterly like, this is horrible, like the situations, and it was such a slow process, but I grew to kind of like it in sort of a masochistic way. I had that experience with a lot of games lately. I need to get out of masochism. Ugh. It's bad. It's a bad place to be. But Chef, it is in early access, so buyer beware, but it's only going to cost you about $18. And if it gives you enough hours of enjoyment, I'd definitely consider it. It's got mostly positive reviews. It is... Oh, and it's... you're going to probably need a pretty good PC to run this, because they definitely go for the higher graphics. That is one thing I will criticize this game for. It doesn't need the crazy high graphics that it has. Doesn't need it. And so, I don't know, when games have very beautiful graphics, especially for a game that clearly uses a lot of menu interfaces, why do you have lo-fi characters? Why do you have these crazy high graphics? That's my one criticism. Like, couldn't you have gone a little bit more stylized and made it more available to more computers? But Restaurant Empire, I think this is specifically like you.
It's an investment.
I don't know if you manage multiple restaurants in this game or not. I am not entirely sure. Yeah, so you determine a restaurant's policies. I think you have different campaigns that involve different restaurants, but I don't think you manage multiple restaurants at the same time. I think it's more just one restaurant. But yeah. Yep. But it definitely looks like a pretty decent game. It's got 72% positive reviews. It is early access though. So again, I would generally recommend to you to wait for early access to be over. Which according to them, early access will end 12 months. So in 1 year, we may talk about it again. You want Restaurant Empire 3? Man, Restaurant Empire. I've never heard of that. Restaurant Empire? Oh, so there's Empire 2. Wildly popular Restaurant Empire games. Oh, it came back in 2009? Yeah, you need a Restaurant Empire 3. That's been way too long. They have, like, cheetahs in their restaurant? What on earth? Oh, this actually looks really cool. And it's very old, but you know, it looks genuinely very interesting. Oh my gosh. That's really cool.
It's a little bit dated, but 2009 was a long time ago.
It doesn't look bad for a 2009 game, really. There was a story too. Oh my gosh.
Like Sims busting out best Sims game because of the story.
Oh man, that's 16 mission campaign. Story of the LaBoufs. Oh, they tiptoe through a minefield of marriage and the unique circumstances of professional success. Oh my word! This reminds me of that Korean drama. The Taste. What is it? The Taste of Love or something like that. Some sort of flowery name like that. It was a great show though. It was a great show. I loved that show, and it was all about these restaurant tycoons and like the professional success, but also how marriage throws things like, and you know, suddenly you have an illegitimate kid who's now eligible for like, hey, I'm eligible for the inheritance. Korean dramas are wonderful. Just saying. But yeah.
Very deep.
Yep. Very deep. So that's cool. Hopefully you do get a Restaurant Empire 3. Endlight Software Limited. When did they last... You know what? Endlight Software Limited, they released a game in 2017, so they're still around fairly recently. They made Capitalism 2. So, I mean, it would be really nice if they would come out with Restaurant Empire 3.
I keep emailing them.
They're gonna be like, oh, it's that roadie lady. No response yet. You just have to make sure to, you know, go to their next investor meeting. Protest outside the hotel where they're having the restaurant meeting. Restaurant Empire 3, and they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, it's the roadie lady. That would be great. Oh my gosh.
Now all you need to do is be an investor and give them a whole bunch of money and say, this is specifically for Restaurant Empire.
Man, restaurant, it does seem really cool. Like that's sort of like it combines story with, you know, building a restaurant. That's actually really cool.
Yeah, with cheetahs.
Like 20 quid to get ready. 20 quid. Make a game. I feel like it would be a good like Kickstarter type title too. Like the sort of if there's no other game like this, that sort of makes an opening in the market for someone to go like, hey, got this game idea. Anyhow, our next game for Thursday, December 6th, is Project Warlock. Do you like Doom?
I've never played Doom, but I do know it.
Well, if you like Doom,
I get it.
You might want this game.
Yeah, like I get it. It's like Doom.
Mm-hmm. That's basically this game in a nutshell. It's Doom. It's Doom, but with, you know, you use magic. And
it's like Doom and Duke Nukem had a baby.
Yep.
and called it, I make indie games in 2019, so I use lo-fi graphics.
Mm-hmm. But hey, to be fair, like their lighting and the textures actually and the color theory on point here. So I don't generally when I see games in this like style where it's the 2D 3D thing, I'm just like, oh, you wanted to save money. But here I'm looking at this like a lot of work. Like I can actually see that hey, a lot of work went into this. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it looks
that's what I mean.
nice.
Like, they put a lot of work into something to make it look old.
Mm-hmm. And you can really tell when people do that, and it's awesome. I feel like we're in like this new golden age of pixel art, and I'm so happy it is. Like we're getting games like Crosscode and Kinseed, Stardew Valley. Like we're getting these kind of games nowadays, and it's just awesome. Awesome. But yeah, Project Warlock. It has 84% positive rating. It is not the type of game that I would get, but I know plenty of Doom fans who would love to get this. It's only going to cost you $12. There's 60 levels. You eventually become Lord of Hell or something like that, so that's cool. 5 worlds, 72 different enemies, 38 weapons, 8 spells, and 12 perks. So there's a bit of character building going on in this game too.
Yeah, probably not something I would play.
Yeah, it's definitely not in a genre that I'm like keen on.
I do like that you can put some character building into it, like the perks and the putting up your strength and spirit and stuff like that. I do like that.
Yep. It is Buckshot Software's first game on Steam, and it's can it run on a toaster with all those effects? Oof. I mean, you can play it on a lower end gaming console. I mean, gaming PC. You can play it on a lower end gaming PC, but yeah, it's those special lighting effects and stuff definitely take a toll on the graphics card. So it's not something you could play on a toaster, despite its pixel graphics. But yeah, Project Warlock. I do kind of wish I liked Doom games because I would put this on my wish list because it definitely seems to have the quality for it. But
yeah,
just not my scene. And on to our final day, we have Friday, December 7th. Something on the funnier and lighter side of things. We have Scamp, Hi-Hat Havoc. Now, I will be honest, I had to look at this game for a little while to decide that I was going to put it on the release list.
I've been captured by the Hi-Hat of the Big Hat Wizards. I need you to come here and rescue me.
That sounds like a personal problem.
Why is it free? I'm trying to figure out why it's free.
That is another thing. I'm like, why is this game free? How
is
are
it
they
free?
making money? It's got like 80% positive,
Find the gems that power it.
and
This game is pretty. Too pretty for these big hat clowns.
yeah, and so it seems to be about like 2 to 4 hours long.
In case you
I'm
rescuing you.
and it's free, and I'm
Let me do my
wondering
thing.
how. This may be a situation where it's an upcoming development studio and they're just like, hey, we just want to get a game out and make a portfolio. That could be what's going on here, but you could make a portfolio with a lot less effort than this. So
I don't know. I'm going to install it right now and I'll try it out.
yeah, free is an easy sell, I gotta say. So I'm definitely curious about it. 3D platformers, there's not a lot of them out there. Well, at least there's not a lot of them that they release very regularly. There are certainly a lot of them. It's about a scamp, and so you're basically a little demon that's fighting people in big hats. So that's kind of neat. I don't know. It's why make this and make it free?
It's in the comedy genre as well. I think I'll enjoy this. I'll try it out.
Yep. Yeah, it's really nice. It has controller support. I like how they have the entire guide of what the controls are just in the description. That's kind of nice.
Mhm.
It does make me think that maybe they don't have a tutorial, but I can't judge that right now. But yeah, it's got Steam achievements. It's free. You know what? Yeah, I'm probably gonna end up checking this out soon-ish, because it's free. That's not a hard sell. So yeah. And that wraps up our Steam release list this week. So that is some extreme hat. Yes, very much some extreme hat.
I'm rescuing you, so shush and let me do my thing.
Kind of almost looks like Banjo Kazooie. Maybe
Yeah,
you can
yeah. Similar art style. Big hats. I don't know. It just looks fun. Like they're trying to start a new franchise or something. You know, that might be part of it. It's a 4-hour long game, but there's a bigger game that they're actually going to sell. Maybe this one, maybe it doesn't end on a cliffhanger, but perhaps it ends sort of leading into another game. That might be their strategy here. But decently short. Yeah. Yep, I definitely suspect that this might be sort of a demo for another game. But yeah, looks good. TopGunBunny, let the world know who you are.
You see my
yeah.
face.
Yep.
This is what I look like.
Mhm.
I'm on Twitch as TopGunBunny every Sunday, and I know I haven't been doing it the past couple of weeks because I've been moving, and I'm so sorry. And I know Rhodey's in the chat, and she's like the only one who watches me do it. But I do like to play 20 minutes that I've never tried before. Every Sunday, I like to try and play 3 games that I've never played before for the first time, kind of like a judge a book by its cover kind of deal. And most of those games that I'm playing are from Humble Bundles, so they're not necessarily new releases, but anything I find in my Steam library that I haven't tried yet.
Yep. And yeah, it's highly recommended. Also, I've been watching some of the VODs, and hey, it's good VOD material, especially if you're not sure about some of the games. Like, do I want to get this game? Want to check it out? Like, he's probably checked it out for you.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
Maybe. It might be on his list of games.
I usually upload them, as videos onto my Twitch. So you can go over to my Twitch and just look through videos. If there's a game that you haven't tried before, or I don't know, you're going to watch me play at least through the tutorial, the first 20, 30, 40 minutes, depending on how much I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
There.
Yep. And yeah, I am Dewey Bear. You can find me on YouTube and Twitch and Twitter as Dewey Bear. Basically, if you need notifications, like if I say that, hey, I'm not streaming today, you're going to find that on Twitch, and it should show up in the little gizmo under my Twitch stream. But, yeah, so I stream 4 days a week, and yeah, you'll see the schedule on the Twitch channel down below. Thank you so much for stopping by again for another week. There will not be a 2-man podcast next week. I think I'm going to be doing it solo just because there's family events. It's December. There's family events. So I'm not entirely sure when I will get the time to get away to do next week's releases. There will be a release list video. It's just going to be me, and I'm just going to be going through the releases real quick. And maybe talk about any news and stuff. So look forward to it. Hopefully after the holidays and after my move, I'll be able to have like it stretched out regular guests, and expect the Twitch the stream format, sort of what we show off here, expect it to change a bit, as I'm definitely been brainstorming how to alter the stream. So I hope the 2019 podcast is going to have a fresh new look. I look forward to showing everyone that. So yep. I guess anything else? Just yeah, thank you so much for stopping by. Auf Wiedersehen, and we are off into the post game.
Goodbye.